Well, Mayor Dickens, welcome to Georgia Followers.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
No, we appreciate having you. It's probably our biggest day on this platform is having the mayor of Atlanta at our studio. So we definitely appreciate you taking the time out to come to us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invite. Glad to be here. Glad to talk to you and all your followers.
All right. Well, definitely, a lot of people want to know, who is Andre Dickens? And I kind of wanted to follow up and say, can you tell us a bit about where you're from and how your upbringing shaped the leader you are today?
Yeah, Andre Dickens is an ATL born and raised native. My mama, my family, everybody. I'm a multi-generational Atlantan. We're from here. And went to Atlanta Public Schools, Georgia Tech for undergrad, Georgia State for grad. So I was educated in Atlanta, born and raised in Atlanta, played Atlanta Parks and Recreation all my years of sports. And, so Atlanta really is so in my DNA. It's all over me, all around me. Of course, I still live in the city to this day. And so I got the desire to become the mayor of Atlanta when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
When I was 16, okay. Andrew Young was the mayor then. I grew up, Maynard Jackson was the mayor when I was born, and then Andrew Young was the mayor I was inspired by as a teenager, and I said, I want to do that. I want to be the person to take this city to the next level and continue to make this civil rights home, this small town, but be a international city, if you will. And so that's been all in me. I did that throughout high school, college, and prepared myself for this moment to this day. I've been a business owner. I owned a couple of furniture stores, 3 as a matter of fact, with my sister. I was an engineer working for a major corporation. I'm a church deacon of New Horizon Baptist Church. I was married for 18 years. I have a 20-year-old daughter. So I'm a dad, and I'm a son of a great mom, a sister of a brother of a great sister, and just, somebody that enjoys, the good life of friends and family and leading the best city in the world. I can't call a better play than what God gave me.
Wow. Well, that's a lot to tell who Andre Dickens is. No, we appreciate that. So Atlanta born, Atlanta raised, and stayed here since then.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of great things.
So like ATLians, we say Atlanta born, Atlanta bred, and when I die, I'll be Atlanta dead. Like, grow up here, and I'm gonna be here to the end.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, I couldn't mention this without being a fellow brother at Kappa Alpha Psi.
Yeah.
So definitely proud that you chose the right fraternity. Mm-hmm. So as a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, I have to say it feels even better knowing that my mayor is a Nupe. So my question is, what inspired you to join Kappa, and how has the brotherhood impacted your professional and personal life?
Yeah, so shout out to the Nupes. One of my prized moments in my life was becoming a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, the Lambda Delta chapter at Georgia Tech. I pledged their undergrad. I didn't know what fraternities were. I'm a first generation college student. My family never gone to college, never went to a major university, none of that stuff. So I didn't know what these letters were on these guys' shirt, KAY, and these funny numbers, Omega Psi Phi. I didn't know any of that. I was like, what are they doing? But the guys that were my guidance counselors as incoming freshmen, and I was shooting ball with them, we were playing spades, we were hanging out. I didn't know that they were Kappas until I think it was like the second weekend there was a step show, and I was like, wait a minute, all y'all are together, y'all the same, so it was like, okay. They started telling me about the fraternity and about the brotherhood. And so I grew up, again, I didn't have a brother in the household with me, so being around brothers, I didn't have a man in the house, it was me, my mother, and my sister. So joining a fraternity really gave me a brotherhood. To this day, like if I'm in a group chat, it's with those guys. If I'm taking a brothers trip, it's with those guys. They were always with me. The first people I call whenever there's good news, the first people I call, unfortunately, if there's not so good news. And so the fraternity training for leadership, it prepared me. I was the pole mark of my chapter, which is the president.
Okay.
I was the pole mark. I was my line president when we pledged. So it raised me into leadership. It taught me how to manage all the things that, people, all the competing interests of people. Folks got this thing they want to do, that thing they want to do, how to make sure I get the best out of a group. And Kappa taught me that. And I'm very thankful to be a Noop. And I'm a member now of Atlanta Alumni. I pay my dues.
Okay.
I show up to the most necessary things. And, I feel good about being one of the Noops and a member of the best fraternity in the world. But also, one thing I do want to say is, it's been 7 black mayors in a row of the city of Atlanta. All 7 of us are members of the Divine Nine. I thought about that the other day at Atlanta Greek Picnic with Tiwa, another one of our frat brothers. He put on the Atlanta Greek Picnic. As I was driving up, thinking about what I was going to say on the stage, I was like, just thought about this, man. Like Bill Campbell, as well as Kasim Reed, as well as Shirley Franklin, Maynard Jackson, Keisha Lance Bottoms, and Andrew Young, all are members of a fraternity or a sorority, and it's pretty cool.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Kappa's a beautiful journey. It's an everlasting journey until we, reach those golden shores.
Yeah, amen. Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. So, who is Mayor Dickens? Obviously, we got that out the way. So we want to get into more things that a lot of our followers, so Georgia followers, one thing, do you follow Georgia followers on Instagram or any platform?
So let me tell y'all, yes, I do. I follow y'all. So I, yes, I follow you, but sometimes I have to not pay attention, right? I got to get work done. I got to get work done, and I certainly don't read the comments, right? Listen, man, I got a lot to do as mayor. It's a 24-hour job. Man, I can get lost in a rabbit hole of comments, bad ideas, self-hate, all that kind of stuff. Atlanta will eat its own if you let it, and then, but definitely be on a flight to some other part of the country talking about how great Atlanta is. But in your comments or in the comments of any other local, station, if you will, news station, local platform, we're gonna tear it up in the comments. Atlanta loves to say something wrong with Atlanta till they get on the plane and go outside of Atlanta. They be talking about, look at me, I'm so ATL. And so wait a minute. So you really love this place. You got 16 shirts in your suitcase that say Atlanta in it.
And I asked that question because, we're obviously our platform is about everything Georgia.
Yeah.
But we're Atlanta based. And Atlanta is, full of culture.
Yeah,
like said, full of a lot of takeaways about the city and the nightlife and the people in it and different things happening. So we definitely try to still focus on we focus on the great things. We focus on statewide things. But, but there's a lot of things in the city in which we believe our base wants to know about coming from Mayor Dickens.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into some of those, city challenges and the city vision as well.
Well, to further comment about you guys and your platform and your social media, I like the fact that you are Georgia based, the whole state, that you're not just focused on Atlanta. We know that Atlanta is the heartbeat of the state of Georgia, the heartbeat of the region. So ultimately, a lot of news and a lot of things that Atlanta does, makes a good topic to discuss, and it should. But I also think that we have an upcoming governor's race and statewide races that's in 2026. And we have to have the conversation about what the state needs, what's the future of the state of Georgia, what's going well and what needs to improve. And your platform can allow those voices to be heard, allow those points of interest to be highlighted. And I think that's of importance, not so myopic on Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta got a lot to say. Atlanta needs to be heard, but I really believe that outside of Atlanta, in the suburbs, in the rural, in the Columbuses, the Macons, and the Augustas and Athens, they got something to say, and we need to hear them because ultimately an election is on the line and the future of Georgia is on the line.
Okay. No, absolutely, and thank you for sharing that as well. So I'll get right into the questions that we got. So Atlanta's dealt with a lot recently, from flooding and water main breaks to potholes and traffic. What steps is your administration taking to address the city's aging infrastructure?
Absolutely. Right now, across the nation, you're seeing the effects of climate change as well as the effects of aging infrastructure. Yesterday, it was New York City in the news for flooding that flooded out, a large portion of the city of New York. And this is one of the biggest cities in the world. And right now, there's cars stuck in water. The subway system was filled with water. And then it was Atlanta, and it was Miami, and it was Detroit. Flooding is happening because of climate change. This is different. I've been in Atlanta all my life, and I've never seen it where every afternoon we get flash floods, these thunderstorms that come out of nowhere. The National Weather Service doesn't know what's happening right now because the Trump administration, fired a whole bunch of the National Weather Service people. So your phone app that's trying to tell you when it's going to rain is off. It doesn't know. It's 3 hours off or 20% off. It says it's going to be a 10% rain and it's a 90% rain, chance of precipitation. So we are now living in a time where between climate change and aging infrastructure, we are all feeling it. And so Atlanta, just like other cities, like most cities, we have an urban center that was developed, in the 1800s. And now that has been built upon as we've grown and grown and grown, and more tall buildings. And every day a new tall building goes up, but we don't put new pipes underground. We don't add to the diameter of the sewer pipe or the water pipe. That's got to change. This city has grown tremendously over the last 40 to 50 years. We are now investing in our water lines to make sure that they are appropriately sized, but also that all leaks and challenges that we may have are repaired. We were hit with a huge water main break in 2023 that stood out amongst all the breaks that happen. There's some are small, they get fixed in 2 or 3 hours. It's a complicated large system with thousands of miles of pipe underneath the ground, so leaks happen. But that particular day was May 31st, and it hit, and it was 2 or 3 days of how do we get water to people? How do we repair this? We don't ever want to be in that scenario again. So now we have the Army Corps of Engineers. They came in the very next day. I called Biden-Harris administration. They sent those people down the very next day. Those folks are still in the city of Atlanta now, helping us make the proper next steps to take care of those issues. We're utilizing technology now, utilizing AI to detect leaks and things of that nature. So we are well on our way. When it comes to the water. When it comes to things like flooding, the world is changing with climate change. And so, you go to Miami, we all love a good trip to Miami for the weekend. Make sure y'all come back. We ATLians, we're gonna be here. But you go to Miami for the weekend, Brickell is flooding. That's literally, you watch Miami news, that's all they talk about is Brickell is flooded again. And you go to, all these major cities and you're seeing, especially southern cities where rain is coming in so much, you're seeing that, DC, others. So we have to deal with climate change head on, and that's something that we likely will talk about, but also traffic and transportation. Atlanta is becoming a victim of our own success. More and more people move here. So what are we doing about MARTA, about rapid transit, getting people out of there? One person in one car is the reason why we have traffic. One person driving one car and coming from places like Swanee into downtown Atlanta every day, or coming from McDonough or Hapeville or wherever. People come from Marietta into the city every single morning between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. and they leave out of here between 3 and 6. And yes, they make their income in the city of Atlanta, but they spend their time on our roads, and that is causing traffic. We love for people in Gwinnett County, Cobb County, and these places that come into the city core to be able to have transit options like buses or rail, like a major city should. And so that's something that I'm really persistent about, is how do we improve and enhance and expand our rapid transit network? And that's MARTA. And so that will help us be able to serve more people, and that's an infrastructure challenge we have to resolve.
All right. Well, that sounds like that. I know that's going to be definitely a focus in your upcoming re-election. So
yeah.
I know that's definitely something that's hitting hard with the people, and that they mentioned the term of Atlanta is full.
Yeah.
Like to say. And a lot of things, like you said, are out of, some things like the weather is changing, right? Global climate is an issue, and it's affecting a lot of big cities.
For sure.
Yeah. So I want to get into, as you talk about improving transit and improving a lot of things to get people moving around Atlanta, with the 2026 World Cup approaching, how is the city preparing to manage our homeless population while showing a compassionate and world-class image at the same time?
Yeah, so first of all, it's amazing that Atlanta is gonna be one of the host cities of the biggest sports event in the world's history. More eyes are going to watch this 2026 World Cup than any other sporting event ever. Americans don't always know that. We think of the Super Bowl, but that is a big event. But there's nothing like the World Cup. And we're going to have the semifinals. So Atlanta's going to have 8 matches, which means that they chose Atlanta. This international committee said Atlanta should have the semifinals and have 8 matches. Only one other city has as many matches as we're going to have. And this is 30 years since the Olympics. So we hosted the Olympics in 1996. In 2026, we're hosting the World Cup with 8 matches. So a tremendous opportunity for Atlanta to showcase our culture, but also improve and expand our economic development opportunities. I want both to happen very, very well. The economic development opportunities are endless. When you think about hundreds of thousands of people are going to come here to watch the matches, to go into Mercedes-Benz Stadium 8 different times. But there's going to be people that just come here just to be in the atmosphere. There are going to be people here that come to support the athletes, to support the brands. You think about every athletic event always has shoe companies, always has sports and energy drinks, always has telecommunications companies. All of the big brands are going to have some sort of office here or set up shop here so that they can really highlight, promote themselves. International diplomats are going to be here from each of these countries. They're going to set up shop in Atlanta. And so we want our small businesses to be able to get a piece of that action. So if you're a photographer, a videographer, a DJ, if you are a caterer, if you are somebody that's a transportation company, they're going to need cars, they're going to need support, they're going to need personal security sometimes, depending on the level of dignitary that you're talking about. All these businesses that are in Atlanta, we need you to go to showcaseatlanta.com. Go to showcaseatlanta.com, sign up on our directory of businesses so that these folks can see your business and say, I want you to be my DJ or my whatever. And then the culture. We want people when they come here to see the whole culture of Atlanta. I don't want them to just be at a downtown hotel and go to Mercedes-Benz, rinse and repeat for those matches. I want you to get out and see Sweet Auburn. I want you to go to Cascade and go to Cascade Point. I want you to go to West End and see the culture. I want you to go up to Buckhead. I want you to go to Virginia Highlands. I want you to get around Atlanta and see our culture. Go to our museums. Go to the King Center. Go to the Center for Civil and Human Rights. Get around the city. Go by the HBCUs and understand this is the large concentration of talent. I want our HBCUs and our college students and our K through 12 students to be able to volunteer, to be wayfinders, showing people around. So all of that is a cultural experience, an economic development opportunity. We want it to be safe. We're going to make sure it's safe for Atlantans and for the visitors. I want World Cup to happen with Atlanta and not to Atlanta. And so that means, what do we do about our unhoused population, those that are homeless? Those individuals deserve to be placed in housing. That's what we're doing right now. We've been doing it from the beginning of my administration. Every single month, we are out there saying, hey, what would you like to do? Would you like to be able to go into one of these apartments we have? Would you like to go into one of these hotel rooms that we can get for you tonight? Do you need some mental health support? Do you need some addiction and abuse support? Are you experiencing domestic violence? We have outreach people out there navigating and helping folks get housed, and we do that we're out there every week at the various places. What most folks don't know is that when you see a homeless person, you may not be seeing that individual as that we've had people go from being homeless to now being, self-sustaining, et cetera. But a new person can become homeless today. Correct. Today you can become homeless if your circumstances change for you. And so a lot of times I've been mayor 3.5 years. Every single month is an opportunity for someone across the region of Atlanta to become evicted. When you get evicted in Douglas County or you get evicted in Clayton County or somewhere else, we're the place that has the shelters downtown. We're the place that has all the supportive housing. I keep building housing for homeless people, and what I get for that is more homeless people from somewhere else. You know what I mean? So every time I build and cut a ribbon, my phone blows up from some other leader in some other part of Metro Atlanta or even the nation like, hey, I got people behind my Walmart. Can you take them? I'm like, no, you need to build that housing for the people behind the Walmart in your city, in your county, and I'll tell you how we do it and how we do it rapidly and how we use financing to make that happen. But what happens is sheriffs bring people down into the city center. Sheriffs from metro, regions, metro counties, drive homeless people into Atlanta. Good people, good church-going folks. They bring their folks down to downtown Atlanta, and they bring them sandwiches, but they don't bring a hotel room with them. So what Atlanta continues to struggle with is regional homelessness. That homeless person that I'm taking care of today in Atlanta was not an Atlantan 3 months ago, 6 months ago, or a year ago. They became an Atlantan already homeless. And so we are trying to resolve that before World Cup and do it with dignity, do it with grace, making sure that people get where they actually need to go, which is to get on the pathway to self-sufficiency.
Yes, I agree, and I'm glad you pointed out all those factors of, the elements being driven in from other parts of, Georgia outside of Atlanta, and making that well known, because that's exactly what I think a lot of people don't really look at, the underlying causes of what drives up the unhoused population, and then meeting the needs of the unhoused population. Not only starts with getting housed, it comes with mental health resources, health insurance, things like that, which are wraparound needs that we need more agencies of, not just in Atlanta, like you said, but outside.
Let me give you an example. You find yourself at Grady Hospital. Grady is a level 1 trauma center. It provides care for anybody that walks in the door. People that have insurance and people that don't have insurance. You can live anywhere in the state of Georgia, and somebody can drop you off at Grady with an ailment, a sickness, a shot, stab, whatever you got, mental challenges. You end up at Grady. Those great doctors and nurses are going to take care of you. But when they've taken care of you, they don't send you to a hotel. They don't give you an apartment. They say bye. So we are seeing people walking around with, hospital bans, just sleeping on the streets of Atlanta. So you come from Savannah to get a hotel and to get taken care of at a hospital like Grady. We don't have a bus ticket to get you back to Savannah. Hopefully you got family. Hopefully somebody can. And so we have so much downtown infrastructure, so many shelters, so many permanent supportive housing, so much transitional housing. We have all of that stuff, and everybody knows it. So they send their people to the city center to get help. We don't have a mechanism to send them back. We don't have a mechanism to help them other than to house them. So now I've absorbed an issue that is serving a population that came from outside of the city. And that is unfair, but it's what we deal with, and we do it as best we can.
All right, well, Georgia Followers supports your efforts, and we know that you're doing everything that you can with your administration to help that out. So we definitely appreciate it. And just I'm gonna jump back and forth just a little bit.
That's bad.
The politics and the culture. So I wanted to jump into something that has been viral about you, Mayor Dickens, on Instagram. So we've seen a viral clip of Mayor Dickens doing is it the YEET dance with your group?
Oh man, yeeking. Oh boy, yeah.
Atlanta wants to know a little bit more about that. We thought it was pretty cool. We was like, look at Mayor Dickens having, that real Atlanta culture in him. So tell us about that. Was that a high school reunion or a wedding, or what was that?
Yeah.
Where were you?
That was my high school reunion.
Okay.
It was when I was not Mayor Dickens at the time.
Okay.
So it was a high school reunion. I think it was like my 20th. I can't remember. Maybe it might have been my 30th. I don't know if I was moving that well at my 30th. So maybe it was my 20th high school reunion. So I used to have a dance group. We would call Off Limits. I know y'all about to make a meme off of me. But at Mays High School, we had dance crews, and we would compete against Doug High School, Southwest DeKalb, Columbia High School, where Chris Tucker went, Banneker, Tri-Cities, Westlake. Now, that was the name of those schools. So it was a thing, man. You had all kinds of the Stray Cats. You had International Party Rockers, and I know these In Excess. I mean, we had like crew names, right? And so you'd have your dance routines, and we have talent shows, and you win like $1,000 prize, a $500 prize. So we were always battle ready. You go to what's now Cascades, it'd be Jelly Beans or Skate Town or Golden Glide Skating Ring. You had your routine ready. You see somebody from Atlanta Party Rockers or International Rocking Crew or whatever, I forget their name, and we go at it. We dance and compete, And so we had 8 to 10 members depending on the years. I was not the leader of the crew, but I was, upper echelon of the crew. I was in it since I was 10th grade, so 10th, 11th, and 12th. And yeah, man. So when class reunion happened, we've been doing the class reunion stuff for like 2-3 days, and like the day before they was like, y'all know y'all got to pull out a routine for us, man. Y'all know we gonna make y'all pull out a routine, and we was like,
limits gotta come.
Our limits got it, man. So look, we like, dude, do you remember the step 2 or step? We had names for them, and I'm like, hey, no. So we practiced in the kitchen of the place that we were at. We're like in the storage closet of the kitchen of the event hall. Like, man, we practicing, and yeah, man, I did it. Now, what's crazy is the internet was. Like Instagram didn't even exist when that was shot. I think Facebook maybe have existed barely. I wasn't thinking that this was gonna live to this day. So yeah, that's us, man. I used to yeet, man, and tear it up. That was our thing, bro.
Well, you had the moves. I'm gonna tell you, it looked fine. You didn't embarrass yourself. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that. So I'll go into, and I know we had a moment before you got on set. Yeah. I'm so ATL has become a new citywide mantra. So how do you feel Atlanta's music and creative scene has influenced you as a leader and shaped the city's global identity?
I love it. I love the I'm So ATL song, the dance. I love that it's multi-generational. I'm watching, kids, like, high school, elementary school kids. I'm watching grown folks do it, college folks. It's multi-generational. I love that. I love anything that we can do in unity and unison. So I'm pretty happy about that. Okay. We were saying I'm So ATL maybe about 10 years ago, and I had shirts and everything because we were talking about little stuff that makes you so ATL. I'm so ATL, I remember when this happened, or I'm so ATL, I love to do this still. But it's important when Amaretta talk about that's not Atlanta. You kind of just gotta know we love this city. Atlanta influences everything. We wear it on our shirts. When I'm traveling, I'm always got on something that's Atlanta. A friend of mine said, man, Atlanta folks love talking about Atlanta. Y'all love wearing Atlanta clothes, y'all, like all day, every day. I got every Braves, Falcons, Atlanta United, Atlanta Dream, Hawks, everything. But when it comes to our music, nothing beats Atlanta music. I mean, we own hip hop right now. If you want an album produced, you're gonna get a producer from Atlanta for sure. You might go out there and venture and get 1 or 2 songs made by somebody else around the country. But if you want a hit album, you're gonna come to Atlanta, and I'm loving it. Our producers are setting the music scene on fire. For the last 2 decades or more, we've been owning it. From the time that Andre 3000 of Outkast said the South got something to say, the South been saying it. And the South has been saying it over and over and over again. We ain't got to brag about it. We just be about it. It happens. It grew organically. I'm thankful that I was able to watch it from its infancy. I went to school with a lot of these guys in Goody Mob. I was in school with members of TLC. I knew Andre 3000 since we were in middle school together. He went to Sutton. I was at Southwest. I knew him. We connected. Had a great, few cool moments as friends. In various, events and stuff. And didn't know he was about to become this international superstar. That's my #1 rapper ever. So I'm a fan and a friend. But that's the other thing that's about Atlanta. You can be a friend of a celebrity and he or she is just as cool with you as they are with billionaires, millionaires, or they're getting serenaded in Germany for their songs, but when they're back in Atlanta, we're just hanging out. We just dap up. If I want to text 2 Chainz right now, I watched him on a show, I texted him. I was like, yo, that's crazy. He texted me back, boom. I can hit up Killer Mike, hit up T.I., Jeezy. I was at his house like 3 days ago, right? And then at the show with the symphony. So you think about it, that we're the ones that brought trap music to the symphony, to the orchestra. So whether that's Guwap with Gucci Man, Tip, or Jeezy, I mean, I love our hip hop scene. I love the Future, and then you got like One Music Fest right now. The lineup they got is definitely an ode to Atlanta once again, with some of the artists that's going to be in that lineup. So I think that I'm So ATL is really something for us to hold and own and really love on our culture. People around the world is like, oh, Atlanta, yeah, I love this song, I love this. And we do too, you know, from, like I said, from, you know, everybody from Kilo Ali and Shadi when I was a kid all the way up to now, the latest and greatest rappers that we have that are just coming out. And it's all kinds, whether it's, you know, and then that's just rap. You know, and then of course Usher and like I mentioned TLC and on and on and on, man. We got everything from when Gladys Knight took the midnight train to Georgia to all of the hits that have come out of the ATL. And don't sleep on our gospel scene. It's crazy, so it's good too.
Yeah, and like you, I'm an Atlanta transplant, so I know the Atlanta culture is very embedded in me. And I think of the mayor of Atlanta as like almost the mayor of hip hop as well. Because like you said, this is where it lives. You have to come through Atlanta in that music scene and for the culture, and not just for rap music. You know, it's for hip hop and R&B. It's for many different genres that have been birthed out of Atlanta. With that, and I saw you at the Jeezy show. Yeah. So you liked it? You enjoyed it?
Oh, I loved it, man. Okay. I love Jeezy's music. I love, his ad-libs, his flow. It's distinctive. It's him. And I love how we've incorporated orchestra with it. I like that Put On For My City. I come out to that music every single time. When they're like, next up to the stage is Mayor Dickens, and they play Put On For My City. That's Jeezy's song, but I tell them every time I see him, that's both our songs. That's my song, your song. You might have wrote it, produced it, performed it, but I'm right there with you, bro, because it's both ours now, you know, because it's such a great feeling to have friends now that are people who are celebrities that are far more creative than me, but it's a reflection of how much they love Atlanta. And he's a transplant. I mean, Jeezy isn't from the city of Atlanta. He has some Detroit in him, some other places. And so, you know, the same is true for a number of these guys and folks that come here and add to our culture. You know, we definitely have some old Atlanta versus new Atlanta stuff from time to time. You know, old Atlanta, I'm old Atlanta. We try to hold on, but we also, we really embrace so many people from all across the United States that have chosen Atlanta. You know, some of us grew here, some of us flew here, but we all represent the A. You wouldn't have most of the mayors that you got if it was dependent upon them being Atlantans. Maynard wasn't born here, neither was Andy, neither was Shirley, neither was Bill. So you know, it's a you know a fact of life that people migrate here because we got great things, we got great culture, we got great opportunities.
No, I love that. And I only asked you about that Jeezy show because I was there.
Oh.
I know you said you spoke to a lot of people afterwards, and that's what I appreciate about you. You are very personable with the people, and I think I came up and I said, hey, I'm gonna be interviewing you Friday, but you probably got a busy schedule. You're probably like, you know what? You probably are.
Let me tell you something, man, that people don't know a lot about. So I want to be accessible. Right? And so you came up to me, and imagine this. When I'm after a concert that I love, that I was, you know, jamming in, I'm kicking in, me and my tuxedo, me and my friend Paige, my little sister essentially. So we are kicking it, and then people come up, let me take a picture, and then some folks are saying, where are we going next? And some folks are saying, hey, I want a job. And some folks are saying, hey, can I tell you about my nonprofit? And some folks are talking about this and talking about that. And your brain as a mayor with all these people come up, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna interview you next week. I'm like, pleasure to meet you, brother. Go forth and prosper. Hope you, you know, have a great night, young man, or whatever it is. You know, I don't know, because I mean, I'm going from here to here to here, and my brain don't always have time to catch up in that instant. And then you'll walk away, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's right. I am gonna see you Friday.
Or that Atlanta saying, I'm gonna see about you.
I'm gonna see about you. Yeah.
All right. So I wanted one last question just about the culture of Atlanta, and we wanted to know this about you. Do you ever find time to revisit any of the same spots you enjoyed growing up here in Atlanta? Like, what were some of those go-to places for you now and back in the day, and do they hold a special place in your heart?
Yeah, so one of the things I love is to see the city evolve. But even as the city has evolved, there's newer buildings, there's bigger things, and certain parts of the city that wasn't as developed is now much more developed. So I'm watching right before my eyes a city that's blossoming and growing. But there are some areas and some things that I still do that as a kid I would do, or at least as a teenager. And that's, when I'm at Cascade Skating Rink, it reminds me of, Jelly Bean Skating Rink, which is literally in the same general area, but just new ownership of Cascade. And it's about getting the whole family out. You can skate with your kid and your family and everybody. You can go have a good time. And it's got Atlanta music. It's a great feel. So that is something that, and it's right around the corner from my house, so I stop in there every now and then for a variety of things. I like to do events there. We had our youth peach drop there. So we did after the first year of the youth, I made sure that we did the countdown for kids there at Cascade, because it reminded me of my youth. So I love going to some of the old churches. I'm a deacon of my church, but every other Sunday I'm at a different church around Atlanta. I've been to like 65 different churches since I've been mayor. And so going to a Ebenezer, going to a Antioch, or going to a Friendship of any of these churches, of Mount Vernon, and just sitting in the place where maybe a Dr. King was, or maybe a John Lewis has worshiped or prayed or gave a speech or something. Andy Young, at First Church, First Congregational downtown. So I go to these places from a nostalgia standpoint. But some of the things that I remember, like growing up, I would go to wherever was free to get to on MARTA. Because, I rode MARTA extensively as a kid. Once school was out, I had a MARTA pass or a MARTA token. So I would go to Underground Atlanta all the time. And I go there now. Underground is 75% occupied, if people don't know. People think, some folks think Underground is just, not what it used to be. Well, we're bringing it back. Chanel, the owner there, you go down there, you get some restaurants, you got, clubs and events down there. So I used to go to Underground a lot as a kid. And then I go to Lenox Mall or West End Mall or Greenbrier Mall as a kid. And so I still hit up those places every now and then, depending on what I need. If I'm buying some sneakers, I know which one of them I'm going to. If I'm trying to buy something else, or what have you. Going to Lenox or Phipps, is always still a treat. It's one of the best malls and the best two malls in America. It's definitely iconic. So going to those, and I used to ride MARTA, get off at Lenox stop, and be just like the rest of the teenagers, walking around there with nothing but $20 in my pocket, trying to stretch as much as I can. I'm trying to get me Chick-fil-A, a cookie, or anything, a burger. We'll go to the movies. So yeah.
Well, $20 went far back then. Mall trips were, kids are still being kids today, going to the mall. And so I'm glad they're taking some measurements. The city is taking measurements to keep the mall safe and still a pleasant experience. So it definitely has improved, and we see the improvement as patrons. But a lot of those old Atlanta spots, definitely love hearing about it.
Man, you think about it, in 2021, crime was the topic, and we might get into that, but people were talking about Lenox Mall. Shootings had happened and things had happened. We haven't had a single incident at Lenox or Phipps. We knock on wood right now. I haven't had a single incident at Phipps or Lenox since I've been mayor, and I thank God for that. I thank our Atlanta Police Department. I thank Lenox Square Mall security and the planning that we've done together, whether it be the parking lot, inside, anywhere, at either of those malls, at Phipps or Lenox. People can shop safely, and that's the same thing for Greenbrier, West End, Ponce City Market. We are making sure the shopping experiences are safe, because as a kid growing up, we go to those places and sometimes a fight will break out, and now fights can lead to other things, and so we don't want to take any chances.
Okay. Now, I know we discussed a lot about the culture, a lot more about you as well, and we have been enjoying it, and now we have to focus on your upcoming re-election.
Okay.
So we definitely want to ask you a couple questions about, your agenda and your campaign initiatives that's coming up. So one, you've emphasized affordable housing in your agenda. So what progress has been made and what bold steps are coming next to make Atlanta livable for working families?
Yeah, affordable housing is one of the top priorities of my administration. I've been talking about affordable housing and working on it since I was a city council member. In 2013, I was running for city council and won, talking about affordable housing. But at first, people were like, we don't have an affordable housing problem. I was like, I'm seeing the costs go up. I'm seeing the rents go up. I was a homeowner and seeing rents go up and understanding, hey, I'm reading things about San Francisco. I lived in LA for like 3 years, so I saw the pricing there, and I got friends in DC and Chicago and New York, and I was like, wait a minute, what's happening there is starting to happen here, and then it did. And so what I've been doing since a city council member is focused on affordable housing, trying to build as much as we can, try to preserve the ones that are affordable that may be getting into disrepair, starting to be dilapidated, how to bring those to safety and quality while preserving their affordability, and then also making sure that we got housing for our seniors and those that are less fortunate, those that may be disabled or veterans, et cetera. So doing all of that in a city that's steady growing. We are growing, so fast, and so many people are choosing Atlanta that I don't want us to be a victim of our own success. Like I said, you've seen that in San Francisco, you've seen that in Portland and other places where you need, so much money to be able to just live. The quality of living, the cost of living is just too high. And so I set a goal as mayor, before I was even mayor, I said, we're gonna build or preserve 20,000 units of affordable housing by 2030. And so that's an 8-year span. And we're at about we're just shy of the halfway point because this has been about 3.5 years of my administration. We have already got 7,000 families living in affordable housing developments that we've done in those 3.5 years. And we got about another 4,500 units of housing under construction right now. It takes you about 24 months to build an apartment development, plus another 20 months of just planning and prep work and financing. So to be able to build that much that fast, knowing how long it takes to build an apartment building or a house that takes a year to be able to get the whole concept figured out and built, we've been doing that rapidly. So the nation is watching. I'm always being asked, how are you building housing so fast? How are you being able to retrofit old housing into new housing? How are you using shipping containers? How are you using modular construction? How are you taking old burnt out motels and making them into housing dwelling units that people can live in at an affordable rate? We are extremely aggressive around affordable housing because we want families to be able to live in this city. We want our school teachers to not have to drive an hour and a half or an hour just to get to the schools. Our firefighters, police officers, nurses should be able to live in this city. And so that's a challenge as we're growing so fast. The cost of living is going up. Tariffs don't help. So the cost of a refrigerator, a dishwasher, a sink, a light switch, a light bulb, all those things are costs that we are now spending more due to inflation and tariffs. But we're still trying to get the job done of building housing and making sure that people can live in them. And that's a promise I've made. And we're almost at 11,000 units towards our 20,000 unit goal. And some of them are for senior citizens, some of them are for families, some of them for single people, and some of them are for people experiencing homelessness. But we are building a lot of it. My challenge is I want everybody in the region to build housing because, people like, hey, they'll come to Atlanta if they can't afford Alpharetta. They'll come to Atlanta if they can't afford Swanee. So we're just trying to make sure that we keep building housing that makes things affordable for people.
Now, and I appreciate the affordable housing because that's always been a first subject for many of our users. But then obviously around that, once you get the working families here and we look at the success of that, then we talk about public safety.
Yeah.
Right? It's keeping our community safe and keeping our working families safe as well. So public safety is always at the top of our minds. So how is your administration balancing strong safety measures with efforts to rebuild trust between law enforcement and the community?
Yeah, public safety is so vital. And I've always said that we have to have a balanced approach. We can't be just tough on crime. That's a notion that led the nation to excessive use of force, just being tough on crime. We don't need warriors as police officers. We need guardians. We need people that can protect and serve. So I've always said that we have to have a balanced approach to safety and justice, because safety is justice, right? It can be where a community gets hit with crime, and that crime can just make that community crumble. It can make it difficult for kids to be able to go to school safely, whether they're walking or in a car. They're passing by drug dealers, or they're passing by places where memories of a person that's shot and killed is. So crime is an uncertainty. It's bad for families. It's bad for business. Businesses don't want to locate, whether they're small businesses or major corporations, national brands or mom and pop shops don't want to locate in a place that they're going to be victims of crime. It's an uncertainty that's hard to be able to predict what's going to happen next. And so how do you get an employee to come into work today when you had a robbery yesterday or a homicide yesterday? And so I had to resolve our public safety challenges. In 2021, that was the number one issue on the ballot. That was the number one thing people were talking about. During the pandemic, crime was high across the nation and in Atlanta. Victims at Piedmont Park, victims at Lenox Mall, smash and grabs at Phipps Plaza. People were afraid to go to restaurants, people getting shot at the parks. And I said, this has got to stop. The city has to come back to a sense of safety. And so we use policing and non-policing efforts to be able to bring down violent crime. And we've done so. We've made sure that this city is safer. This year alone, we're about 30% down in homicides, about 19% down in shootings in the city. We are about 40% down in car break-ins and car thefts. This is significant news. And since I've been mayor over the last 3 years, we're down significantly in homicides. 2022, there was 171 murders. Right now, we're still below 60, and we're on the back half of the year.
That's great.
This is considerable work. I say Atlanta's a group project. This ain't just the mayor's office. This is those nonprofits helping those kids. This is the clergy making sure that they do what they are supposed to do out in the community and helping people de-escalate things. The mayor's office of violence reduction. My team is out there going to hot spots, going to places where retaliation may be the next course of action for them. But for us, we teach them anti-retaliation skills, how to de-escalate, how to resolve conflicts, how to make sure you get some healing out of this community. So your uncle's beef with your homeboy's nephew ain't your beef with your boy, right? It doesn't turn into community against community because somebody else got problems from 20 years ago, 15 years ago. We're trying to resolve old problems and move the city forward, and it's been going quite well. Sure, we've supported our police officers with making sure that they have the equipment they need, new patrol cars. Let me give you one example. We came in with a take-home car program. Police officers in the past had one car that went 3 shifts, 8 hours. That car basically ran 24 hours a day, every day. I said, your car is now your car. So every officer now has their car. That car is taken care of, it's clean, it's what have you. They get it washed, it's their car. Yeah. But guess what? While they're on duty, that car is there. But somebody else is driving into work that's not on duty yet, but you as a criminal think, there's a whole lot of police cars out here because this guy's leaving work in a car, this guy is on duty, and this gal is coming in a car. It's 3 cars out here, it's cars everywhere, right? Only one of them is on duty right now. That car is parked in front of their house, making sure that you don't rob anybody on that street. That car is parked in front of that apartment complex, you're not robbing anybody. That officer is on his way home or her way home. That keeps a sense of safety, and those officers love it. And so we also gave raises, brought back the pension for all city employees, but the non-policing stuff, the things that we've been doing with the Year of the Youth, we've invested so much money in our nonprofits to help those kids, and now they are safer. And so, this is a model for success, to continue to invest in our people, and that's what's been making public safety even better, including our nightlife, and we did our Light Up the Night campaign with 30,000 street lights. I don't know if people that just got here, they may not know it, but Atlanta was dark. There was corners and places where trees were hanging over. Now we've added more lights. That provides safety. And so the other thing is our 911. About 4 years ago, people were calling 911 and they said sometimes it went to voicemail. Now we're answering the call within 6 seconds, and that makes people feel safer too.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, as a citizen of, obviously the city, I feel safe, and I think a lot of our following, those are kind of one of their top concerns is wanting them to also feel safe as well, and knowing what the mayor is doing about it, along with his administration. But like you said, it's a team effort as well.
Right.
So we appreciate you being compassionate about those concerns for the people. We definitely appreciate having you here today.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to come. You probably got a busy 100 more things you could be doing, but you came here to Georgia Followers to share, more about yourself, and then obviously share the successes of things you've done so far with your administration and the future things you're going to get into as well. But normally for our guests, before they leave, we always ask, if you were to go to American Deli for lunch right now, what would be your order?
I was wondering what the American Deli cup was here for. Listen, man, I'm a 10-piece lemon pepper wet with a peach drink. That's my go-to. Okay. And then sometimes I go French fries, and sometimes I go with the fried rice, just depending on if I'm trying to eat healthy. And I'm pretty sure that fried rice and French fries got the same calorie count. But it just makes me feel better sometimes when I get rice instead of French.
Is that fried hard?
I'm a medium fried. I like to be able to taste the chicken a little bit instead of just the crust. But I'm a lemon pepper guy. But every now and then I venture out, man. I get the little, I get the French fries, or I go to the fried rice. Sometimes I get the fish. They have that too sometimes. So hey man, I'm an ACL boy, man. Lemon pepper is in my blood.
Yeah, you know what? I hear the lingo. You like. I go lemon pepper.
I got lemon pepper. Yeah, give me that. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mayor Dickens, for coming to our platform. Georgia Followers is a supporter of Mayor Dickens in the city of Atlanta. We know you got a re-election campaign coming up.
Yeah.
We fully support you and all your efforts. And if there's ever anything we could partner up with you and your team, we're all for it.
Yeah.
We appreciate your time.
Well, man, one thing I want to say is thank y'all for having me. Thank you for continuing to build up this state, build up this city, to really showcase all the great things that's going on. I love creatives. I love people. I love startups. Atlanta is a startup city. It's the best place in the nation to start a business, according to Black Enterprise and LinkedIn. And so you guys are a part of that, starting this business and growing it to be able to, show Atlanta to itself, show Georgia to the rest of the world and the nation. Thank you for what you do. And the things that, I ask for is that we're all in a group project. Atlanta ain't just Atlanta because the mayor's office is going to solve all the problems. I want you guys to tell the good news. When we say, hey, there's grant opportunities for your small business, highlight that stuff so that people sign up for those things. When we say your kid can get an internship, we got 6,000 young people working right now in the city of Atlanta, 6,000 teens working for us, making a minimum of $15 an hour. Yes. I want next summer, I want y'all to be telling everybody, sign up for this program so that you can get a job where you can earn, where you learn, and that also is a part of public safety. When you got teenagers making $15 an hour, they're not doing other things. They can pay for their food. They can go to the movies. They can have fun without getting in trouble, and that sets us up for success later. So it's a group project. I want everybody that might complain about a problem of Atlanta, call 311, but also you can get out there and pick up a piece of trash too, a piece of litter. It ain't got to wait for a city employee to do it. I think all of us together should work together on this group project, and if that's something that we can do together, please let me know how I can continue to promote that.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it.
Much love, man. All right, good news.
Yes.